Good evening, my friends. Tonight I want you to do something with me before I say another word. Think back, just for a moment, to something ordinary you did this past week. Not something grand, not the day a long awaited letter arrived, not the night you could not sleep. Something perfectly unremarkable. The cup of coffee you drank yesterday morning, a short walk down a familiar street, a few quiet words exchanged with a neighbor at the gate. Have you found one? Good. Hold it gently in your mind. Now I want you to notice something about that memory. Notice how it sits within you. There is no hope inside it. There is no straining to believe. There is no anxiety about whether it will ever come to pass. There is no asking, when will it happen? Because it already happened. It is done. It is finished. It is a quiet, settled fact of your experience, requiring absolutely nothing from you to keep it real. You do not have to convince yourself of yesterday. You simply remember it, and the remembering is enough. That feeling, my friends, that ordinary, unhurried, completely undramatic weight of something already done, is the feeling I am going to teach you to bring to your desire tonight. Not the excited feeling of something approaching, not the trembling feeling of something about to arrive, not even the confident feeling of something coming, the simple, accomplished feeling of something that already has. And when you learn to do this, not perform it, not imitate it, but truly inhabit it, something extraordinary takes place in your world. Time itself begins to fold. The distance between where you appear to stand and where you wish to be collapses, quietly, of its own accord. And the outer world, slow as it always is, begins to rush forward, to match the memory you have already created within. This is what I have come to share with you tonight, and I ask that you stay with me to the very end, because what I am about to give you is not a teaching you will hear casually. It is something I learned in long silence, and something I have watched change the lives of those who took it seriously. Now let me show you, first, the mistake. The mistake nearly everyone makes, because until you see it clearly, you cannot leave it behind. Most men and women, when they think of what they desire, place it always ahead of themselves. They speak of it in the future. When I have the money, I will feel safe. When I find the right partner, I will feel whole. When the work comes through at last, then everything will change. And though this seems entirely natural, even reasonable, I want you to look very carefully at what you are actually doing every time you speak in that tense. You are placing your desire in the future. And the future, my friends, is a country that never arrives. There is no door at the end of the corridor of time, marked tomorrow, through which you may at last walk and meet your fulfilled life. There is only this, there is only now, the eternal, unmoving, ever-present moment in which all things have ever happened, and in which all things must happen. The future is a concept, a shadow cast by your own imagination. You cannot live there, you cannot receive there, and so long as your desire is held in the future tense, it remains exactly where you have put it, perpetually approaching, perpetually about to be, never arriving. But there is something subtler and something more wounding in that future tense. When you say, I will be wealthy, what are you also confessing about right now? You are confessing, I am not wealthy. When you say, I will find love, what are you stamping upon this very moment? I am alone now. When you say, I will succeed, what is the silent assumption beneath every syllable? I have not succeeded. And consciousness, which creates only from what you are being right now in this present moment, hears that confession with perfect, obedient clarity. Not yet, more not yet, lacking, more lacking, waiting, more waiting. This is why so many sincere students of these teachings have labored for months, and for years even, with faithful daily practice, and yet have watched their desire hover always one step ahead of them. It is not that the law has failed them. It is not that they did not believe enough, or imagine vividly enough, or feel deeply enough. It is that they have been creating from the wrong direction. They have been looking toward their desire when they ought to have been looking back from it. They have been hoping forward when they ought to have been remembering backward. And tonight I want to teach you, slowly and carefully, how to make that turn. Hear me well, my friends. You cannot bring the future into the present by reaching toward it. You can only bring it here by treating it as the past. I know that sounds like a riddle. Stay with me, because in a moment you will see why this is the only way it has ever truly worked. Consider for yourself how you relate to anything that has already happened. You do not hope it happened. You do not picture it happening. You do not strain to believe it happened. You do not anxiously ask the heavens when at last it will come. You simply know that it did. It is settled. It is finished. It is real with the unargued, quiet reality of all things that are simply done. A memory carries no doubt within it. A memory does not require your encouragement to remain true. A memory does not need to be defended against the world. It simply is, calm, complete, asking nothing of you but the occasional act of recollection. That, my friends, is the quality of inner state that creates, not the eager, reaching, hoping forward of a man who longs for what he does not yet have, but the calm, settled, almost ordinary backward glance of a man recalling what already came to pass. And the secret I wish to give you tonight is this: you can create that exact quality of inner state about a thing that has not yet, in the slow march of linear time, occurred. You can construct, with your imagination, a true memory of the future. And when you do, when you genuinely inhabit the felt sense of remembering your desire as something already accomplished, your subconscious mind, which has no calendar and which cannot tell the difference between a recollection and a creation, accepts it as fact. And once your subconscious accepts something as fact, my friends, it begins, quietly and without your conscious management, to rearrange every detail of your life, your perceptions, your steps, the doors you happen to open, the people you happen to meet, the very letters that arrive in your mailbox, all of it gently bending to bring the outer world into agreement with the inner truth. Now hear me carefully, because here is the practice. You are going to teleport, not by any strange device, not by any effort of will, simply by the natural movement of imagination, which is the only true vehicle of consciousness, and which has always been more than enough. Tonight, before sleep, you will not imagine the moment of receiving your desire. That moment, splendid as it sounds, still carries within it the energy of arrival, of transition, of at last. Instead, I want you to leap further than that. I want you to travel past the moment of fulfillment, past the first wave of relief, past the celebration, past the announcement to your loved ones, all the way into the ordinary after, when your desire has been so long present in your life that it has become entirely unremarkable. If you long for a certain sum of money, do not picture the day it arrives. Picture 3 months after it has settled. The money has been there long enough that it no longer feels miraculous. It feels normal. It is simply how things now stand. If you long for a beloved, do not imagine the moment of meeting. Imagine half a year into the relationship, when the newness has worn into something gentler and steadier, when this person is woven into your days so naturally that you can no longer quite recall what your life felt like before them. If you long for a healing, do not picture the cure. Picture a year afterward, when your body feels merely like your body again, capable, present, unremarkable, in the most beautiful sense of that word. After, not during. After, because after carries the weight of being. During still carries the weight of becoming. And what you and I are after tonight is the weight of being. The settled, lived in, ordinary weight of, this is simply my life now. From that future place, you will turn and look back. You will remember how it all came about, not project forward to how it might. Remember backward to how it did. Let me make this very specific, because the imagination loves precision. Suppose you have desired, for some time, a beautiful home. You have visualized receiving the keys. You have pictured walking through the front door for the first time. Tonight, set that aside. Tonight, instead, close your eyes and step into a different scene. You are sitting in that home, and you have lived there 6 months. The boxes are long unpacked. The walls are no longer bare. You know already which floorboard creaks beneath your foot in the hallway. This is simply where you live now. And from that lived-in place, from that ordinary, this is my home place, you begin to remember. You remember the day the keys were placed in your hand. You remember how relieved you felt after so many uncertain months. You remember telephoning your sister from the front step, barely able to get the words out because you were laughing and weeping at once. You remember the first morning you woke in that house, the particular quality of the light through the bedroom window, and the strange, soft thought that crossed your mind. This is real. This is mine. This is where I live now. Do you feel the difference? You are not hoping. You are not visualizing forward. You are not striving to believe. You are remembering, and remembering carries an authority, a settled finality, that no forward projected wish can ever match. Now, why does this work? Let me tell you, because if you understand the why, your practice will go far deeper. Your subconscious mind has no calendar. It does not measure time in the way your waking mind does. It cannot tell the difference between a memory of something that occurred when you were a child and a memory you have constructed with vivid feeling tonight. To the subconscious, a memory is a memory, and memories are facts. So when you again and again, with feeling, remember your desire as already done, you are giving your subconscious a signal of complete and uncontested clarity. This happened. This is real. This is part of my experience. And from that signal, your subconscious begins, without your conscious instruction, to arrange the outer details of your life to match. The right thought rises in you at the right moment. The right name occurs to you of someone you ought to write to. The right neighbor stops you at the gate. A door you would not have noticed opens. A bridge of small incidents is built across what looked, only weeks ago, like an impassable distance. Not because you forced it, because the inner conviction of memory drew it forth. And here is something more, something I want you to grasp deeply. When you remember, you do not ask how. You simply know it happened. The how is irrelevant, already worked out, already in the past, of no concern to you. This is the most natural form of detachment from the means there is. You are not detaching as a discipline, gritting your teeth to release control. You are detaching naturally, because from the position of one who remembers, the question of how does not even arise. It happened. Of course it happened. The details are merely details. And when you release the how, my friends, you free the outer world to move in ways more elegant, more surprising, and more precise than anything you could ever have planned. Let me tell you of a woman who came to me some time ago, weighed down by a particular sum of money she needed, and needed badly. She had been doing her practice faithfully every night for many months. She visualized the money arriving. She felt the relief of holding it. She wrote the figure on a slip of paper and kept it folded in her purse. And yet nothing moved. The sum did not come. When she described to me what she was doing, the trouble was plain at once. Every night, she was imagining the moment of receiving. Every night, she was perpetually on the threshold of arrival, perpetually in that breathless instant before, which kept her permanently in the state of not yet. I gave her one instruction, and one only. I said to her, stop imagining the arrival. Tonight, before you sleep, place yourself 3 months past it. The money is there. The bills are paid. You have done with it whatever you intended to do. From that ordinary place, look back. Remember the day it came. Do not picture it arriving. Recall it arriving, as you would recall any other event of your life. She practiced this faithfully for 2 weeks, and she described to me afterward something I have heard many times since from those who truly grasped this turn. The desperation left her, not because she had forced herself into composure, but because, from the position of one who remembers, there was simply nothing left to be desperate about. The money had come. Of course it had. She remembered. What was there to be anxious about? 3 weeks after that, an aunt of hers, a woman she had scarcely spoken to in years, a woman she had nearly forgotten, wrote to her with the offer of an early portion of her inheritance, the exact sum, the precise amount, coming from a source she had never once entertained, through a relationship she had nearly let slip from her mind. It came to her quietly, without struggle, without bargaining, as though it had only been waiting for her to remember that it was already hers. Now let me give you the language of this. Because the words you choose, even in silence, even when no one hears, shape the inner sense of what you are doing. For the man who longs for money, do not say to yourself, I am trying to attract abundance. I am working on my prosperity. Say instead, in the quiet of your own mind, I remember when that finally came through. I remember the relief. I remember the call I made afterward. How I could hardly get the words out. That was, what, 3 months ago now. It still does not quite feel real. For the woman who longs for love, do not say, I am working on attracting my partner. Say instead, I remember when we met. I remember our first long conversation. How easy it was. How surprised I was, after waiting so long, that it could feel so simple. It has been 6 months, and I still find myself slightly astonished. For the one who longs for health, do not say, I am visualizing my recovery. Say instead, I remember when things began to turn. I remember the doctor's face when the result came back. I remember the morning I woke and noticed, almost in passing, that the pain was simply gone. That was perhaps 8 months ago now. I still think of it sometimes. For the one who longs for the right work, do not say, I am hoping for a position. Say instead, I remember the first morning at that desk. I remember how strange it felt, in the most pleasant way, to think to myself, this is what I do now. This is simply my life. Do you hear the difference? Do you feel it in your chest, in your shoulders, in the quiet places where the truth lives? It is the language of already, the language of looking back, the language of one for whom the desire is, quietly, completely, unmistakably done. Now, I know there will be among you those who hesitate at this teaching, who ask, perhaps in their honest hearts, is this not a kind of self-deception? Is constructing memories of things that have not yet occurred not, at bottom, a lie one tells oneself? It is a fair question, and a serious one, and the answer to it is no. Understanding why will make your practice both more honest and more powerful. For at the level of consciousness toward which I am pointing you, your desire already exists, not as a future event, not as a possibility yet to be created, but as a fully formed reality in the infinite field of what is, that great inner ocean from which all outer experience is drawn. Creation, my friends, is finished. Every possible version of your life already exists, fully shaped in consciousness. What you experience as the unfolding of time is simply your sequential acceptance of one state after another. You are not building your future, you are walking into states that already are. When you create a memory of your fulfilled desire, you are not fabricating. You are reaching across the apparent veil of linear time to touch something that is already true, and to bring it into living relationship with this present moment. The memory you construct is not a falsehood. It is an act of recognition, and this is why it has power. Not because you have outwitted your subconscious, but because you have aligned with what is already real, and is simply not yet visible to the slow, late instrument of physical sense. The outer world is always the last to know. It is the echo, never the voice. And when you speak the voice with the quiet certainty of memory rather than the uncertain plea of hope, the echo must in time repeat what was said. Now let me give you a simple practice for tomorrow and the day after, and every day from now on. 3 moments, that is all. 3 moments, each one short, each one steady, and together more than enough. The first moment is in the morning, before you rise from bed, before you reach for anything, before you let the cares of the day begin their familiar march into your mind. You will do something very simple. You will take perhaps 2 minutes, no more, and you will place yourself in your desired future, not at the moment of arrival, but well past it, into the ordinary after. Settle into that place, feel its plainness, and from that place glance backward. Remember how it came. Let that quiet feeling, the feeling of, yes, that happened, be the first quality you carry with you into the day. You are not starting a campaign. You are not bracing for a struggle. You are simply rising as the one who already has. Your second moment is throughout the day. Every time your desire enters your mind, and it will, take careful note of the direction in which you are facing. Are you looking forward at it, hoping it will come, wondering when, asking for signs? If so, gently turn the inner gaze. Look back at it instead. Oh yes, that is done. I remember. Even for a breath, even for a moment, just enough to redirect the inner posture from longing toward, to remembering from. You will not catch every drift, no one does. But each time you do, you strengthen the new pattern. The third moment is in the evening, in that golden window before sleep. Here you will do the full practice. You will close your eyes, you will travel forward in imagination, past the moment of fulfillment, deep into the after. You will live there for a time. You will feel the ordinary weight of it. And from that lived-in place, you will create the memories, the day it came, the words you spoke, the letter you wrote, the morning afterward when you woke and it was still true. Make the memories vivid, make them sensory, make them specific, the kind that stick. And then you will fall asleep inside the feeling of remembering, not hoping, not wishing, not visualizing toward. Remembering. Carry that into sleep, and your subconscious, untiring through the long hours of the night, will carry you, quietly and without your interference, toward the outer conditions that match the inner fact. And now I wish to close with something deeper still. For all I have given you tonight, the turning, the after, the memory of the future, rests upon a truth that goes beyond technique. When you teleport forward and remember backward, you are not, in the deepest sense, traveling at all. There is no traveling, because past, present, and future are not separate countries arranged in a line. They are not different rooms along a long corridor through which consciousness must walk one after the other. They are all here, all now, all present at once in consciousness, which itself stands outside time, and contains all of time the way the sea contains every wave that has ever broken upon every shore. What you call the future is not a place ahead of you. It is a place that, in the deeper sense of the word, is already present, already real, already complete, already accomplished, but not yet perceived through the slow lenses of the senses. When you remember your desire as done, you are not inventing anything. You are removing the illusion that it is not already here. You are recognizing what has been true all along. It has happened, not tomorrow, now, in the only dimension that ever truly creates, consciousness, which is the substance of all things and the ground of all time. Your desire is already accomplished there. The only question that has ever been before you is whether you are willing to remember it. So here then is what I ask of you. For 7 nights, beginning tonight, do this and nothing else. Each night, before you sleep, close your eyes, travel past the arrival, settle into the after, and from that quiet, ordinary place, look back. Remember how it came. Remember what you said. Remember whom you told. Remember the morning following, when you woke and found it still true. Make the memory specific. Make it small and detailed and real. Feel the unexcited, almost ordinary weight of something done, and then fall asleep inside that feeling. Do this for 7 nights. Do not check for signs. Do not look for proof. Do not attempt to figure out by what road the thing will come to you. Simply remember it as already arrived, and let the world, which is always the last to know, run after the truth you have already touched. If you have stayed with me until this hour, I want you to know something. What I have placed before you tonight is not a teaching widely understood. Many speak of imagining the future. Few have ever turned, as I am asking you to turn, and remembered it instead. You are now among those few. Treat that knowledge as the quiet, sacred thing it is. Apply it gently, apply it faithfully, and do not be surprised when, in a week, in 2 weeks, in a month, you find yourself one ordinary morning recalling something that has not yet happened in the slow march of linear time, and noticing that the recalling already feels like memory. That is when you will know. That is when the bridge is built. That is when time has folded, and the outer world has begun its quiet, late hurrying to catch up with the truth you carried home in the dark. Good evening, my friends. Until we meet again in consciousness, assume it has already happened, remember it gently, and rest tonight in the quiet certainty of all things already done.